Hello and welcome, my friends, to a very, very special episode of the Disney Travel Secret Show.
Yeah, this is a huge milestone. It is our 9th anniversary show, and it is truly amazing to look back and realize that we've been doing this show for that long.
Yes.
So that's 9 of the 21 years that we've been together.
I can't do that math in my head,
I
but
know,
it sounds
that's
like
almost like half. Almost half.
Sounds like a long time.
That's crazy.
Again, hello and welcome to the Disney Travel Secret Show. We're your travel agent, hosts, and also best-selling authors, Rob and Carrie Stewart. We're here in the CMV studio in beautiful Windermere, Florida. This is episode number 476. Original air date, March 30th, 2026.
And yes, this is our 9th anniversary show, as I'm sure you've gathered
I think
by
they
now.
got it. Yeah.
And we are so thankful to those of you who have been with us, whether it's for a few months or from the very beginning.
It really is crazy how much our life has changed since March of 2017. And today, we're going to be sharing those milestones going all the way back to 2012.
I know, and there are so many people to thank for helping us reach this. But first, here's a little blast from the past with a few people that have done our intros since back in the day.
Welcome to Disney Travel Secrets with your host, Rob and Carrie Stewart, the founders of Creating Magic Vacations and authorized Disney Vacation Planner. They are still a very popular Disney podcast, and not just with their friends and family. Every Monday for over 5 years, they've been bringing you the best and most up-to-date information about all things Disney, the parks, the cruises, and also the luxury of Adventures by Disney. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, where they share content that's mentioned on this very show.
You're listening to Disney Travel Secrets with Rob and Carrie Stewart, travel TV hosts, Disney experts, and authorized Disney vacation planners. Voted #1 Disney podcast by their friends and family, of course. Make sure that you are subscribed so that each and every Monday you'll have a magical time getting the inside scoop on the latest park and resort news. Learn their inside secrets on how to make the most of your Disney vacation, and even how to save hundreds of dollars on your very next trip.
Hello, my friends. This is former Disney Imagineer Hugh Darley, and you're listening to Disney Travel Secrets with my friends Rob and Carrie Stewart. As you can imagine, I have plenty of Disney secrets myself, and I can't wait to share them with you. Let's get this show on the road. Take it away, guys.
So all of you know Hugh, and if you've been with us for at least a couple of years, you know Flash. But we only had Will for, I think, just one of our shows.
Yes.
And he is, he's actually the son of one of my old college roommates. And so back in the day, she was bragging about how he had memorized the Flash intro. And so we absolutely had to have him record and do it. And I think that was really fun.
I can definitely tell you his voice has changed. It's not even close to when he did this intro for us way back in the day.
Yeah. And here's what's really cool is that if you are staying over at the Grand Floridian, he is currently doing the Disney College program over there. So shout out to Will.
And we have to think it's probably because he was on our show.
I think so. I think we inspired him.
Inspired him, yes. Not that we got him the job at DCP. We did not do that.
We did not do
but
that.
I hope that we inspired a little bit his love of Disney.
Yeah. So here's something that we rarely think about, and that is how significant it is to have done 476 episodes of the Disney Travel Secrets podcast.
The significance of the passage of time.
Okay.
476 episodes every single Monday, 9 years, not one miss. So think about what that actually means for a second. That's 476 weeks of showing up, no excuses, no breaks, no, we'll skip this week, rain or shine, because it is an indoor podcast. No busy season, slow season, holidays, travel. So every single week, Monday showed up, and so did we. Now, the statistics say that over 90% of podcasts never make it past 20 episodes.
Yeah, and the average podcast lifespan is less than 2 years. So here we are, 9 years in, with a perfect Monday streak that most creators in any medium never come close to achieving. So I would say congratulations to us. We should have had like a bottle of champagne or something. Okay.
High five. I mean, if you think about it, how many of your favorite shows that you like to watch had not even 9 years, 9 seasons?
Yeah.
So if you break it up like a TV show, we probably had 18 to 20 seasons. So that almost certainly places us well above the 99th percentile and into a tiny fraction of a percent of all podcasts.
Yeah. So, an analysis of podcast catalogs, 44% of shows have 3 or fewer episodes, and it only about 1/3 ever make it to 10 or more. So, I just think, you know what? And I've seen that though. I've seen that
I
with
have
some
too.
people that they're inspired. They listen to us and they say, I'm going to start a podcast, and they make it to like 3 or 4 episodes and then they're gone. We see this all the time.
It's the whole instant gratification. I did 4 shows. Where are my listeners?
Yeah, it's work. This is not something that is, I mean, it's fun,
They
but it is
know.
work.
They know
It is
by
work.
now. So given that the global average, is around 50 episodes per show, being close to 500 means we produced almost an order of magnitude more content than the typical podcast.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And thank you, all of you. We're going to keep saying thank you. Now, we know that a lot of you listen to the show as soon as it comes out, first thing in the morning. If that's the case, and that's what you're doing right now, the odds are Carrie and I are somewhere over the Atlantic flying back from Paris to the States.
Yeah. So we flew over to Europe on March 10th. And yes, we are flying back on March 30th. And we can't wait to tell you all about that amazing experience over on our sister podcast, Travel Inspired.
So basically, it was a 4-day river cruise conference in Amsterdam, followed by a 3-night very short cruise on the same ship that we're staying at for the conference.
Yeah. And then we hopped on down to Marseille for 4 nights. So that's in southern France. And that was for another business event. So this wasn't pleasure. This was all business.
It was, followed by a 7-night cruise on the Rhone River from Arles to Lyon. Pretty much the exact same cruise that started our love of river cruising back in 2014 with a line that you know we love, and that is AMA Waterways.
Yeah, but this time we are on the most ultra bougie boutique cruise line, and that is Uniworld. And yes, you're going to hear all about that on the Travel Inspired podcast.
There really is something incredibly special about traveling to Europe. And for those of you that have been there, you know this. For us, it doesn't really matter where we are there. Our love of Europe started in 2009 on our honeymoon cruise. It was a 12-night sailing aboard at the time, the brand new Carnival Dream. I remember it was the 3rd voyage.
Mm-hmm.
And this was 12 nights round trip Rome with a 3-day post-cruise stay in one of our favorite cities in the world, and that is Florence.
Yeah. And our desire, though, to go to Europe started a few years before 2009. We were relaxing by the pool in our condo, and we had just gotten into the travel industry. So we had all these cruise brochures for all the different cruise lines back when they would give you a nice catalog.
Yeah, they're digital now.
They're
Just so
all
you know.
digital now, yeah. And so we were just sitting by the pool and looking at all of these amazing cruises in the Mediterranean and Europe.
Well, I still remember those times. 2 young kids with big dreams.
Okay. Now, this is the perfect episode of Disney Travel Secrets to recap what has happened over the last 9 years since we started this podcast.
Yes.
And we're going to start with 2 of the biggest decisions that we made.
So first, and this is number 1, this is kind of crazy. When we started this show, we really didn't have a plan other than it kept our name out there. It would hopefully grow our social media platform, which in turn would help us sell more travel.
Yeah, so back in 2017, we were with a very large travel franchise. We owned one of those with thousands of agents, and we never worked with the owners of the company or even the high-level executives. And more often than not, somebody would call us and say, hey, I'm your business coach. And I was like, what? And they haven't been in travel all but like a week. So that was one of the reasons, though, that we decided to start our own agency and wanted to make sure that every single agent who joined our team could work directly with us.
I think that shocks even some of our friends that are also the owners of other agencies. Like, you work with all of your agents, you have over 100. I'm like, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah. But also, one of the things that this show made us realize is that there are a lot of people just like you who love Disney and love planning the vacations for your family. And so we also saw this as an opportunity to help people who have a passion, who want to be professional travel agents, not necessarily like a hobbyist, but have a real career and join our elite team of agents. And this show has helped make that possible for so many different people.
So as we move on to our shameless plug, at number 2, a year later in 2018, we were selling a lot more Disney, even though we were still doing this very part-time. And we were giving that franchise a good portion of our commission, even though we didn't even talk to them. Twice a month, on the 15th and the 1st, we get a check that was usually wrong. And we're like, this isn't working. So we asked a very profound, and we didn't know it at the time, a very life-changing question. What would it look like to start our own travel agency? And I remember we were having this conversation. I'm like, we should, it was March of 2018, so a year into the show. I said, let's just float a balloon out there, a little test balloon. Hey, we're going to start our own agency. And you're like, no, don't do it.
I know. I was like, no, we got to have a funnel. We got to have systems, because apparently a lot of you connected with that.
Yeah.
And the major reason is that we, again, knew that we could build a team and coach them to have success being a professional travel agent on a very part-time basis. Most of our agents are only working like 5 to 7 hours a week. And what's really cool is they start with no industry experience. And so I feel like we've done a really good job over these past 9 years helping people come on board. I guess it's been 8 years since we started the agency.
Correct.
And we've brought on well over 150 agents, and we're continuing to bring new people on, because some people, they get excited and they'll, try it out for a while, and then they're like, I don't know if it's for me, but the right ones stick around.
That's true. Our agency was not even 2 years old when the COVID pandemic shut down the entire world. I mean, talk about great timing. And a lot of agents and a lot of agencies went out of business. We did not, because of one major factor. We purposely did not have a backup plan for our travel business.
Yeah. And really what kept us going during that time was Disney World, because they were only shut down for a couple of months. And also, very graciously, the cruise lines did pay us for cruises that did not go. So
that was very nice.
That was very nice.
Very
I'm sure
generous.
they had a nice insurance policy for something like that.
I'm sure they did. Also, of course, our loyal listeners like you that kept booking with us, and our agents that kept on working.
Yeah. So let's take a quick look at the significant events starting at Disney in 2012 that really shaped what we're doing to this very day.
So we call this our timeline. It could also be our DTS Walk of Fame, like the Hollywood.
No, it's timeline.
We can do handprints. Okay. So whenever we look at our past, I think we can all agree that there are certain milestones that change everything moving forward, not just ours but yours. Here are a few of ours.
Yeah. So in 2012, we saw Disney legend and former president of Imagineering, Marty Sklar, do a little talk presentation at Epcot's 30th anniversary. And that really was, not to have a pun, but to have one, it was really the one little spark. And you'll get that reference if you know Marty's books.
In 2013, we pitched our friend and vice president of Norwegian Cruise Line at the time, Andy Stewart. He spells it the same way we spell our name. I remember when you were on camera, we were filming him for Norwegian, and I was joking around. I said to camera, I love these cruise events because that's the only time I get to see my brother. He looks at me, looks at the camera, and he's like, we're not related. Anyway, I was pitching him on the concept for a TV show filmed on board the cruise ships. And his question is, how's it going to be different than what's out there? I said, well, number one, we're travel agents and we know the product. And number two, Carrie really knows video production. So I said, think of it as a combination of Anthony Bourdain, Samantha Brown, and Rick Steves.
Yeah. So on New Year's Eve of 2013, he put us on the Norwegian Epic. And that was the first time that we were filming on a cruise ship, specifically in cooperation with the cruise line.
And that was really fun because on the Epic, they had the Blue Man Group. I remember they gave us the entire Blue Man Group theater and said, okay, no one else is in here. Go on and do your thing. And that's when we did our first, it was our top 5 favorite things about Norwegian Cruise Line. We didn't have a script. I think we had notes.
I think we had notes. That was a fun little video. You can check it out on YouTube. It's there.
Ironically enough, that was, again, I guess close to, over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And still one of our most watched videos. And again, it was fun because all the crew knew we were filming. And that, to us, it made it that more special. Oh, no, that's the TV crew. That was fun. That was fun to hear.
Yeah, but then the real work began in 2014. So we were filming a proof of concept video for our show on 4 different cruise lines. We went on MSC, Norwegian put us on again, and Celebrity. And then the cruise that started our love of river cruising was the Amawaterway ship on the Southern Rhone River, which ironically is the exact same cruise that we just got off of yesterday on March 29th, if you're listening to this on the air date.
In 2015, our next milestone, we started using the app Periscope, which was the first live video app. And this was the start of our 7-year run of going to Disney at least once a month and staying at Disney.
Yeah, I actually was reading one of our YouTube descriptions because I found a video and I was sending it to somebody and I was like, oh, in our description we have follow us on Periscope.
Oh my gosh.
I know, that's how old it was.
I missed that app.
Yeah, but the real hook for this particular app though, Periscope, was that you could geo search And basically, you would open the app, zoom in on who's at Disney, and you could see who was doing a live video at the time. Now, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, they weren't even doing this. It was only Periscope. It's crazy to think about that.
And they're still not. You can't just go to
No,
Instagram.
you can't geosearch
I know.
anymore.
That was the whole thing about Periscope is we had people from across the pond that we met because of Periscope. And like, oh my gosh, Rob and Carrie are at Disney again. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Now, next milestone, 2016, while sitting on a bench in Disney's Hollywood Studios in 2016, next to Walt's One Man's Dream, we came up with the name Disney Travel Secrets. So that's 10 years ago. And the funny part is we really didn't think that name would be available. But as you know, it was.
Yeah. So we grabbed that URL, and Disney Travel Secrets started out as just a Facebook page. And little did we know how much that would change the following year.
Again, now we're back to 2017. Exactly March of 2017, we officially launched the Disney Travel Secrets podcast, a podcast that would change our life, our business, and our zip code twice.
And as Rob mentioned, we started this without like a real plan, other than this was a way to keep both of us kind of out there and expand our social reach. And, you know, we didn't have to keep in mind, we were doing a TV show. So I'm like, wait a second. I'm listening to this podcast
I
stuff,
remember this conversation.
and I was like, wait, this is audio only? I don't have to worry about hair. I don't have to worry about makeup like we do for the TV show. I was all in. And I have to thank our podcast mentor and coach, Pat Flynn, for helping us get this podcast going. We got this up and going in 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, we were, I think, his first student for his first program. And if you follow Pat, you know, he has an amazing podcast program that, you know, if you wanted to start your own podcast, I would 100% recommend that. But yeah, I can't believe that was 2017.
So for those of you watching, if you're not watching, go to watch this episode. Carrie just had her hair done today.
Okay.
No, she looks fantastic. So, okay, if you're ready, this is the big one. In 2018, we started our travel agency. But did you know this? Originally, our agency was called Dream Builders Travel Group. But now, as you know, it's Creating Magic Vacations.
Yeah, I used to own a company called Dream Builders back in the day. So I had dreambuilders.com. And then my partner and I, we sold that company. And, you know, it was like we would see things. I think it was more so you than me, but we would see those signs around the parks where there was construction, and they would have, you know, Dream Builders. And so that was something that, you know, when we were thinking of an agency name, that just kind of stuck around because, you know, Dream Builders had been a part of my past.
Yeah. The challenge was it was a little too close to another travel agency. And frankly, Creating Magic Vacations is a way better name. And we think you would all agree.
Yeah, I know. I love whenever we go on a Disney cruise and their name badges, like the cast members, it says Creating Magic at Sea.
And then sometimes we're like, can we borrow your name tag for a second? And when they're not looking, we write in vacations at the end.
Yeah. Now, in 2019, everything was going great. And in 2020, this was a pivotal year for the entire industry of travel because most of it was shut down. And in the case of the cruise lines and even Disneyland, they were closed for more than a year. So we kept doing shows though every week.
We did.
And I remember we did some fun things when like the shutdown was happening because in Florida, we never really shut down. But for those of you who are in some cities that were really shut down, this was like we were doing trivia nights, we were doing contests. We had a lot of fun just trying to keep the Disney magic alive. Yeah. And then, of course, book people's trips so that they had something to look forward to. That was really, really important.
This is also when we came up with National Wear Your Ears Day.
Which is tomorrow.
On
March 31st, if you're listening to this on the 30th.
So here's kind of a little bit of trivia. When we were living in St. Petersburg and we were doing this show, we were literally sitting across our dining room table. Mm-hmm. We didn't have even an audio studio until we moved to the house we were renting. And then now we're in our full-blown audio video studio. So what kept us going and in business was that Disney World was only closed for a couple of months. So most of our amazing clients weren't canceling their trips. They were just moving them a little bit into the future.
Yeah. And people were nervous to travel to Disney World because they didn't know what to expect. But we were still coming up from St. Pete. We did that for 7.5 years.
I remember saying, I don't need no mask. And by the way, I got blasted on reviews. Rob's anti-mask. And I said, no, I'm not anti-mask. I'm anti that you make me wear one.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. A lot of people were too nervous to travel. But we were coming up here so we could experience it in person and report back to you. And then, you know, the cruise lines, they were amazing because most of them, they still paid us even though the sailings never happened. They were
Yes.
hoping they would have come back by the fall, but it took a long time.
Well, also, one of the biggest factors is we didn't have a backup plan, and that was not for our business. That was on purpose. No matter what happened, we had to keep the agency going.
Yeah, we did not have a job to fall back on. And another thing worth mentioning is that, you know, neither of us have been like really employed by somebody for over 20 years. We've always been self-employed, and we rely on the both of us for building the company.
Now, the reason we've both been self-employed for over 20 years, very different for me than her. I am 100% not a good employee.
Okay.
I'm stating that publicly. So, okay, now we're up to January 2022. Thanks for staying with us this far if you have. One of the most important decisions we ever made, other than starting the podcast, starting the agency, and that is moving to the Orlando area right next to Walt Disney World, and specifically Windermere.
Yeah, and I still remember that first day when we got the keys to the house,
Mm-hmm.
and we had nothing but, I think we had bought a mattress. We had that delivered.
And it was on the floor.
It was on the floor,
Yeah.
and we had just a couple folding chairs. But what's the first thing that we do when we moved up here?
I remember.
I know. We're like, we live in Orlando. Let's go over to Epcot Festival of the Arts.
And here is the crazy, almost surreal part. It felt completely different walking into the park as now very brand new locals than it did driving up from St. Petersburg for all of those years.
Yeah, it really was very, very different. And, you know, it just kind of felt like home. It was kind of cool.
I know. I swear, as soon as we walked in, I kind of heard, "Welcome home."
No, that was just the DVC booth we went by.
Okay, never mind. See, I thought, you ruined my fantasy. But the other big thing is 2024, almost exactly 2 years ago, buying our dream home in a community called Keens Point. And this was more than buying a home. This is being surrounded by very successful people from all types of businesses that we now call our friends and neighbors, and just seeing the very dramatic money mindset shift from where we had lived before.
Yeah. And you know what? When it comes to your life, your business, your family, think about some of those key milestones that you look back on, because maybe it's a birth, it could be graduation, it could be a marriage. For us, it's always fun to look at the key points in our history, especially with this show, that show how we got to where we're at today. And we're so grateful to bring you along with us.
And I will say, for the very first time in 9 years, we really went through the timeline of exactly what year it was and what got us.
That was kind of fun.
Got us to the next step. So again, thank you so much again for joining us on our 9th anniversary show, and look back at where we started over a decade ago. And whether you're brand new to the show or you've been listening to us for years, maybe going all the way back to March of 17, please know that we truly appreciate you.
Yeah, and if you are going to be traveling to Walt Disney World, even if you haven't booked with us, we would love to meet you in person at one of the parks. We try to do that on the regular. Just reach out to us and let us know. If we can make it happen, we are 100% there for it.
Now, don't forget tomorrow, March 31st. Now, if you're watching this a week down, sorry you missed it. Hopefully you didn't. National Wear Your Ears Day, March 31st. A picture of you, I don't care where, if in your car, your office, at the park, at your kid's school.
Wear them to work. Do it.
Okay, yeah. Oh my gosh, wear them to work. Take a picture, tag Disney Travel Secrets, and tag National Wear Your Ears Days. I mean, hashtag. I'm just abbreviating it. Tag, hashtag.
I think hashtags are going away.
Okay.
Just tag us.
Or do the number thing.
What are you, 60?
Yeah. Or if you want to collab with us on Instagram, feel free to do that. And until next time, have a magical day.
We hope to see you real soon.